Hey, this is Jeff Wick, editor of the Fayette County Record newspaper, joined as always by Andy Balin. Hot off the presses, we've got the first copy of today's edition of the Fayette County Record, and we are in scenic wine country, the scenic wine country of northern Lavaca County, just over the Fayette County line. Of course, we cover the world at the Fayette County Record, right. So we're in Moravia here at Majek Winery, and we're going to go find Lynn Majek, the owner and operator at Majek Vineyards here, present her a copy of the paper and see if maybe we can trade that for some of her wonderful wine. Hey, there she is.
Howdy.
Lynn Majek.
Welcome.
Of Majek Vineyard and Winery. Oh, there's a familiar face. H.H. House, what are you doing here?
Well, you take the long way.
Yeah, have you been here a while?
I'm here raving about this Moravian wine.
Oh my gosh, it looks like you've knocked out quite a few bottles already.
Well, those are wait.
Built a little craft with some used corks there?
I had a few corks left, so.
Well, hey, Lynn, here is hot off the presses the first copy of the Fayette County Record. Those will be available across Fayette County later this afternoon, but you've got the first copy in your hands right there.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. We'll add it to our newsstand.
Awesome. Well, how about we spread that out, talk a little bit about the headlines as we enjoy some of y'all's wonderful wine here.
Look at this nice
Look at that.
bunch of wines.
Well, before we talk about the wines, Andy and Pancho, y'all want to talk a little bit about the front page of the paper here? You got your names all over them.
Sure thing. At the top of the front page, we got a story from LaGrange City Council meeting. There's a group of local investors, Dan Miller, John Hayworth, and Clay Morgan, are planning to build an RV park over on Highway 71 at the bypass out there. And they're asking the city to extend the sewer lines. That's something the city's thinking about doing, but it's an interesting development. And last week on Friday, had a gentleman, Daniel Kalias, stop by the office and asked us to put this picture in the paper. It's the 1968 Plum Yankee baseball team, which won the LaGrange Little League that year. And he had some interesting stories about that year, so I wrote a little story about it, and it's on the front page. And then there's also a story about over in Schillenburg, Baumgart Matula hardware store got vandalized week before last, and the police are looking for, they suspected some juveniles that broke in there. Pancho, you have a couple stories here.
Yeah, Dick Frenzel is an interesting guy, and the founder of the local Citizens on Patrol came by and brought this photograph of a $3,500 check, which he presented to the local LaGrange Police Department to help defray the cost of a speed monitor, which is over on Travis Street now, and it tells you how fast you're going.
Have you lit it up yet? Have you got?
I was going to get you to light it up and get a photo, but I think if you go over about 5 miles too fast, it really lights up.
Yeah. And
then Jennifer Zaruba is carrying on the tradition at Frogs and Flamingos. After several glasses of wine, it's a little hard to say. Frogs and Flamingos. A friendly little florist business there on the corner of 77 and
Colorado Street.
A lot of folks from Flatonia will know her. She was a coach and a teacher over there at Flatonia ISD for many years, and her mother passed away a few months ago, and she gave up her teaching career to carry on the florist business.
I asked her about that. She was wanting to carry on the tradition, but really hated leaving her kids, you know.
Yeah.
All right, well, enough about the news. Let's go to the main focus of today's video. Majek Wine. Lynn, tell us a little bit about what we've got here.
Well, today we're drinking our best-selling red blend. It is a dry blend of Sangiovese with Cab, Malbec, and Pinot Noir.
It's good.
Thank you. And it's our best-selling red. But we try to have a really nice variety of wine for everybody. Because we never know where our customers are coming from. We get people off a lot from Houston, South Austin, Victoria, and San Antonio, but we've had people come from overseas, and so we just never know. So we try to have a nice variety of a red, white, sweet and dry wine, so that
Here they are right here, right?
that's right. So whenever people drive up, we're making sure they have a great glass of wine.
And you mentioned that drive up. What a beautiful vineyard you've got here. I don't know if it'll translate through the windows here. We'll maybe go out in a little bit to check out these grapevines. But how did you get this place started?
Well, a little bit of the background is that I don't know if people are familiar with Moravia, Texas, where we are. We're 8 miles south of Schulenburg. And this area was settled in the late 1800s, early 1900s by people from Moravia in Czechoslovakia. And that is the wine growing region. So everybody out here who came had their own family recipes for wine that they brought from the old country. And that tradition still continues today. This property is my husband's great-grandfather's property. And they lived out here for 3 generations. My mother-in-law was baptized at the Moravia Church. And then they all moved to Corpus Christi. And so I met my husband, and about 15 years ago, we still live in San Antonio. We wanted to have a place to go. And so we bought out some of his aunts to get part of the family property back, for at least back to us. And so after lots of drinking, we decided to put in a vineyard. And so I went back to school at Texas Tech and got a degree in viticulture before we planted. And my husband, after that, went back and got a degree in winemaking from Texas Tech.
Wow.
So we planted in 2013, we opened in 2014, we had our first harvest in 2015, and we started making wine on the property in 2016.
Wow.
So we've now been through all the cycles, and in fact, we just worked with Whistling Duck, which is a winery that's south of Weimar. We just bought grapes from them yesterday to make Blanc du Bois, a white wine. And then we are measuring furiously the Brix level on our grapes to see when we're going to start harvesting here. We're probably going to start Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we are right down to the wire. We're holding on as long as possible to try to build up the sugar content in the grapes. But it's the high season for us here.
And Majek Winery will be featured in a new specialty publication the Record's doing. It's coming out later this summer. A special glossy section devoted just to gourmet food and drink in the area. And you know, like you mentioned, these area wineries, the greater Fayette County area, and we'll of course include Moravia in the greater Fayette County area, really becoming a hotbed for wineries in particular.
Wineries, and there's all kinds of wonderful craft food going on. There's young chefs moving to the area. Callisto Culinary has recently moved to the Schulenburg area, and they are chefs that were formerly with Uchi in Austin. So they are awesome, and we have also just our homegrown fabulous restaurants like Singleman Hall, and we have the Haluka Dairy and the Lyra Rosa Cheese Company that we sell their cheeses here. And it's just the amount of craft and art going on in the food business and the wine business is amazing.
Now, you mentioned we're 8 miles south of Schulenburg. What's the official address here and hours of operation and things like that for people watching if they want to come out here as soon as possible?
That's right. Well, we are at 12508 FM 957, the famous highway to Moravia, and the zip is 78956, the Schulenburg zip. We are open Friday from 4 to 7 and Saturday and Sunday from noon to 6.
You'll have events out here from time to time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, in fact, thank you for asking. Our next big event will be our Grape Stomp, which will be on August the 4th, which is 2 weeks away on Saturday. Hopefully we'll still have grapes. But we'll have live music, we'll have a food truck or some other similar type food, and we will be stomping grapes. So for $20, people can enjoy the experience, and they don't have to stay till the end like we do.
Don't have to clean up
That's
after
right.
it's all over. But yeah, why don't we pan around and show off this great tasting area. A bunch of local artists featured here.
Absolutely. We worked Paula Walker, Paula Patterson Walker out of Hallettsville. We show her work, and also Carrie Ballanger, who is out of Hallettsville. She started the show here. We have, here is Stephanie Shore, who is based in Schulenburg. She works with concrete, And so she actually takes our leaves and makes molds and then makes housewares and things like that, jewelry out of our leaves.
That's amazing. I had seen some of her work before, but didn't realize those were basically leaves from the winery here.
Wow. Yes. And then we've got Daniel from Alamo Woodworking, who's from LaGrange. He does our cutting boards and things like that. And our jellies and things are made from people in Victoria. The olive oil is from, the one that's the private label is also from Victoria. And in fact, there's a wonderful olive oil ranch here called Olivey Ranch that's in Moravia.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where's that at?
It's actually down the road about 4 miles, down 957.
Okay.
It's off on a side road.
Okay.
But they're about to have their harvest, and so we look forward to carrying we've sold out of their olive oil from the past, but we're anxious to carry theirs. They've got, I think, 25 acres of olive trees.
You know, it's amazing what you're talking about a while ago. That Sangiovese wine that we're drinking right now is like, I think it's my favorite kind of wine to drink with any kind of grilled food or anything.
Yeah.
And you can buy like the best steaks in the world over in Flatonia, the Hart brand
Yes.
beef over there.
Absolutely.
Like you're saying, the great cheese at Halupka Dairy. I mean, wine from over here, olive oil from down the road. It's amazing the culinary experience you can have right here in this area.
Well, we always say, in case of the apocalypse, just bring bread. We got you covered everywhere else.
That's right.
So y'all want to look at the vines?
Please. Now, is there something about the soil here in this area that lends itself, to good grape growing, good olive tree growing?
Well, what I think people will tell you about the soil in this area is that every square foot is a different type of soil. So, in fact, in my own vineyard here, this is very heavily clay, and it was eroded. It was never really improved because it lay fallow for so long before we bought back into the property. And so I have to go back, and I'm still year after year adding compost to try to improve it. But here you can see we're right ready to.
Just look at those vines loaded down with grapes. Oh my gosh.
So this is Black Spanish. It's a grape. In the area, people normally only grow Black Spanish and Blanc du Bois, which is a white grape, because there's a disease in the area called Pierce's disease. And these two grapes are very tolerant to it. And so we don't have to.
Connection. Oh, it's back now.
Okay. So we're going to make 3 styles of wine out of this. We're going to make a rosé, which we are probably going to pick right. It won't be.
We lose the connection.
That's back. Sorry,
Oh,
we're going
maybe
around about.
on the
We want
edge
to
of
back,
the,
back up a little bit. Yeah. So we're making a rosé. We're going to make a sweet red and a dry red. So we'll have enough grapes. We will use our own grapes, and we also have a friend. A girlfriend in Hondo who has a wonderful vineyard, and so she grows Black Spanish for us, and so we'll be buying 3 tons from her, and we'll have about 2 tons here on the property.
Wow. Is the netting to keep the birds off of them?
Yes, as soon as they start to ripen, you don't know you have any birds until they start to ripen, and then they kind of descend on you like a movie. And so they will actually blocks. And 2 of those are Black Spanish, and 1 is Blanc du Bois. Thank you. We love it. It's a very peaceful business to be in. And the customers come.
We're losing connection.
Are we back on? Well, Lynn, thank you.
Wi-Fi connection.
Let's go back inside. Well, Lynn, thank you so much for having us out here. I mean, this place is just wonderful. If you've not been out to my vineyard and winery, please do. And like you said, the grape stomp in, just a couple of weeks?
It's 2 weeks from this past Saturday, so we'll be August 4th.
Wow. And yeah, you can read more about them in that specialty publication we're going to do. And hey, Andy, anything else?
Yeah, do y'all have a website? Is it?
We do. It's myvineyard.com, and we're very active on Facebook, Insta, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
Okay, well, we're linking to the Facebook page on this Facebook Live video.
Fantastic.
And you can always find us at FayetteCountyRecord.com and also on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And thanks so much for watching, and thanks so much for reading the paper.